What's up, YouTube? I know I hit 100,000 subscribers.
Yay!
And you think I'm famous, but I'm still the same old McDonald, so.
Famous.
Don't worry, guys. We're gonna help them get it monetized.
Period.
Now, let's speak of monetization. I see lots of questions in the comments about monetization, and I'm going to say this as an educational experience more so than me making money. Here's what it takes to get monetized. Any of y'all people know? I'm in 7th period, by the way.
Yeah.
Whoa.
First thing you got to do is get.
Doesn't it take like 40,000 hours of watch time or something?
No, well, it takes 4,000.
4,000, yeah.
So you got 4,000 hours of watch time. That means all you people watching my videos for 20 seconds. Takes a lot of 20 seconds to get up to 4,000 hours. That's 240,000 minutes.
Put them in the background of everything you do.
So you got to get 4,000 watch hours, which took a while to get. That just happened a few days ago. You got to have 1,000 subscribers. So this is over the course of a year. You got to keep 1,000. You got to have 4,000 watch hours. After you meet those requirements, then you have to apply for a Google AdSense account, which is like where the YouTube would pay you, since I guess they're all hooked together. And then the third thing that you've got to do, which I'm in the process of, is YouTube has to go on and they've got some kind of, I don't know, monitor that's on there. That goes through and watches some of your videos. I don't know how many they watch or skip through or what they're doing. But they have to go through and look at your videos and make sure that you're not violating like copyright content or anything highly inappropriate that shouldn't be on there. And so they go through and review those videos before it can reach the monetization stage. And once that happens, then you can start like posting ads. And once people click on ads, then you can start getting money. I didn't realize you could make money for TikTok. Did y'all realize that?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, like, I don't have a TikTok, in case you hadn't figured it out there, but judging from your comments, probably. Like, TikTok doesn't have ads, right? And I didn't see any advertisements.
They have a creator fund, so you can join it, and like, once you get like a certain amount of thing, you have to post like really consistently to be a part of it.
But it also like
No, I mean, but what are you making money off of? Like, somebody that you guys might know
TikTok does have ads.
was telling me, well, no, I was watching my wife last night and I didn't see any ads. You must have to watch a lot of stuff to see ads.
They have ads when you first click on the app
yeah,
and like stuff like that.
it's like one ad when you just open it, and then
But you don't see ads when you're watching the videos and stuff, right? Well, I mean, that just seems like it's hard.
yeah, like
I don't know how they're making money on that. But I know people who have like, are just posting videos, they're making money. You make like so many cents for every 1,000 views.
But that's the problem with that is that the algorithm messes it up so that if you're in the creator fund, it shows your videos less and less on like an explore page type thing.
Yeah.
So you get less views in the creator fund because they're like, we're gonna mess up the algorithm. So
If you're on what?
Much money.
He's not gonna understand this.
Right, not at
Okay,
all.
the creator fund is like the thing where you like get money for your videos.
Yeah.
Like if you're in that, they'll usually like don't put your videos in people's
Why wouldn't they want your video? I mean, but they want you on there to make money, right? Why not just post more ads?
I think she's saying it's like a glitch, maybe.
no, it's
I mean, if I was running TikTok, I'd be running like, you know, an ad, at least the beginning or middle of a video, or at least like a couple second ones. You don't have to have a long ad.
they don't
Videos
want
are
to
15
make it
seconds,
easy
so
for
they-
people to earn money, so that's why.
Why not just put more ads and make it easier to earn money, and then more people put better stuff out there?
no more like the problem is that more like the people that are in the creator fund, they put their videos, but they don't get as many views because TikTok like messes it up so like their videos are shown less and less on like the feed.
I don't know about that. Some of the stuff my wife was watching looked like hundreds of thousands of views for some stuff, like just all up and down people's pages, and they've got to be like some of the creators. I don't know that TikTok is trying to discourage creative license, although who knows what's going on over there in China. So, isn't TikTok China? I feel like they were going to get shut down at one time.
Oh,
They were trying to.
That's why I keep TikTok off my phone.
The comments
They don't need
are
to
gonna be mad about that one.
They don't need to see what's going on. Hey, I just need you guys to know what's going on. They're watching you. Okay, so what else do you guys want to know? I think that's the question people ask the most. Monetization. People think I'm making like 20 grand a year off YouTube. I can't make. Oh, they said the approval process takes, I want to say, up to a month, and so like you have to wait until after them to start running ads, and so like anything up to that point you can't make money off of anyway. Yeah.
Okay, so a lot of the comments are asking for merch. So me and Valerie had an
Oh,
idea to make you merch based off of your profile picture, like with the wig.
Get your life together.
Yes.
Somebody wanted to start buying wigs. I know that much. I've got some environmental club shirts that are actually pretty good. I was going to sell as merch and raise money for the environmental club.
All right.
You know what your merch
No.
You know what your merch should say? Get your life together.
Get your life together. Get out more.
Or no.
Slap,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right.
Just slap it on a sweatshirt.
Now, for those of you who are actually at the school that I'm at and assigned in my class and get a grade and have to learn all this stuff, let's get started. All right. Air pollution unit number 7. It's good stuff. All right. So we're on page 412. There is a table here of major air pollutants. And so let's kind of go through and talk about this first section. First one, coal combustion releases air pollutants, including, so in this section, what is related to coal in terms of air pollution? Now, in case you people don't know out there, a lot of our electricity comes from burning coal. I know in Alabama, we still have probably 25%-ish that comes from burning coal. It used to be about 55%. A lot of that was replaced by natural gas. If you are living in some other country, I don't know, China's probably way, way more in terms of coal production. So anyway, what pollutants are released in coal combustion?
Sulfur dioxide.
Okay, sulfur dioxide. You're going to see a bunch of chemical equations, or not chemical equations, chemical formulas for different pollutants, and you are going to have to be familiar with these. So I know this is something a little bit out of the ordinary that we haven't seen or really done, but these pollutants are important and they're probably going to ask you about them. So it is important you know them. So SO2 is sulfur dioxide. Sulfur dioxide is released when you burn coal. It produces what in the atmosphere? Sulfur dioxide makes sulfuric acid, which is a component of sulfuric acid in the air makes up one of our main components of. There are people in this class, I assure you. Acid rain, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, you've heard of the acid rain. So sulfuric acid is one of the components of acid rain, and that comes from burning coal and some of these other fossil fuels. Coal is one of the primary ones. Nitrogen oxide, so NO, and it says X because it can be different numbers there depending on what type of nitrogen oxide it is. From burning fossil fuels, one of those would be coal. That also produces nitric acid in the air, which is a component of acid rain. Dang, y'all are good. All right, carbon monoxide. Yes, that is also released. CO. CO does what to you? Carbon monoxide kills you good when you breathe it in. So yeah, you go to sleep and you die. Don't breathe in CO. And all you people out there, if I can accomplish one thing in your lives, make sure you have a carbon monoxide detector in your home because it is colorless, odorless. It makes you sleepy and then you die. So there's very little warning. Lots of people die each year from that. Particulate matter. Particulate matter, I've got a, whatchamacallit, this is a air sensor detector, and I'll turn it on right now. It's going to turn on, start buzzing, and we're going to check our particulate matter in this classroom. So, which one do you think's worse, PM10 or PM2.5? 10 is bigger than 2.5. So these are particles in the air that are very small that we cannot see. I don't know, sometimes you can see them when they're, like a light's coming through a window and you can see all the stuff floating in the air. So that's what it's talking about. Which one's worse, PM10 or PM5?
I mean, 10.
Who thinks 10?
I feel like this is a trick question.
Who thinks 2.5? And the other 8 people will have no clue. It is 2.5. Why?
It's 2.5 because they're like very close together.
Yeah, how do we keep stuff out of our lungs?
We blow. I
Don't
don't know.
Did you say blow it?
What's inside your nose?
Hair.
Yes, ladies, I know y'all look at this. Nose hairs and mucus. Yes, so as you breathe in, it catches a lot of that stuff, and so you don't get it in your lungs. Well, the 2.5 is so small, like it's hard to catch it, and so a lot of that gets into your lungs. If you're breathing smoke, you got a friend who does a lot of smoking or vaping out there. Maybe adjust who your friends are, but anyway, so you can see our particulate matter right now is listed at, it's one on the bottom there, it's 5, it was 4 this morning. I don't know what y'all been doing since y'all came in here. Maybe some residual smoke since y'all came from the bathroom. In the video we're going to watch today, which on the YouTube is called Dying to Breathe, polluted air. Well, first of all, what do you think the most polluted city on earth is located?
India.
Now, I will say this, out of the 7 million-ish people that die in the world each year from air pollution, most of them do die in India or China, really all parts of Southeast Asia, but those are two biggest places. But no, this city is not located in either one of those.
Is it in the U.S.?
No, it's also in Asia. And you probably never guessed this, it's in Ulaanbaatar, which is the capital of
I didn't hear what you said.
Ulaanbaatar. You can
Saudi Arabia.
butcher me out there for butchering that word. It's actually close to China. It's our friends in Mongolia. And if you're in Mongolia out there, we'd like to hear from you. The most polluted air on earth in the capital city of Mongolia. And it is really a shame because it affects as many things in the world that we've talked about. This is one of those environmental justice issues. You have people who are poor. They're really their only means of staying warm. That place is like a big dry grassland pretty much. So there's not any wood there. Well, not a lot of wood, looks like. And so really the only thing they have to burn and keep warm is coal. Coal is cheap. It's energy dense. And it's very toxic. And I don't know if you've ever been around. Have y'all ever been around coal that was burning? You probably haven't, because I don't know that we have any coal broilers or stuff around here anymore. Like I told y'all, we had one at our elementary school and high school when I was growing up. And like when you're outside and it's cold like that, like you can almost taste the coal in the air, and it does not taste good. So anyway, yeah, so we're at about 5 or 6. It kind of fluctuates back and forth for the particulate matter 2.5, which is the really bad one. And in the video, I think the outside air in that city is at 900, their level of particulate matter. And so it's substantial. Even inside the homes, it was like at 400, which is really, really high. So that's another one of those environmental justice issues. People are poor. That's their only method of keeping warm. And consequently, it's also very bad for their health. Number 2, the combustion of fossil fuels releases what into the atmosphere? What's one of the main things we talk about when we talk about combustion of fossil fuels? Carbon dioxide. So that's another one on our list here. And I left out lead and mercury we're going to get to in a little bit. Lead and mercury are really bad because they cause what? They are similar in their destruction of your... No. I can tell they've already got to you. Brain, yes, your brain cells. Lead and mercury destroys the brain cells. So, yeah, it's bad. We'll get to more of that in number 5. So let's see. They lead to the... Okay, so CO2 is definitely released in the production of... in the burning of fossil fuels. Do what?
Oh, I almost swallowed mercury once because I bit a thermometer. I had to like spew it.
Do not chew on the mercury thermometers. It's bad for you, yes. One of the students said she almost swallowed some mercury one time chewing on a thermometer.
But
That's why I like to stick with the alcohol thermometers in here. You'd have to chew on a lot of those to get intoxicated. All right. They lead to the production of different pollutants and also the formation of, what do we have in big cities that we can see that's an air pollutant? Smog, good. And also convert the nitric acid in the atmosphere into, or causing what? What do we have in the atmosphere? If you've got nitric acid in the atmosphere, then it's gonna produce or result in acid rain. Good. Now, quick side note here. Acid rain has the biggest impact on what organisms?
People.
Water things. Very good, Andrea. Things in the water. Rains, it gets in the water, the pH drops, and anything that is affected by the pH in the water, which most animals are, or organisms, then it's going to have a bigger impact on those. All right, number 3, other pollutants produced by fossil fuel combustion. Basically, number 3, you can kind of circle it back to number 1. Almost all of those are fossil fuels that we mentioned with coal. I don't think we hardly left any of them out, except maybe the VOCs, which you can add in there. If you're not familiar with volatile organic compounds, I almost say chemicals. The only thing where I could see like where you reference VOCs is in paints. So a lot of times, if you go to the paint store, let's say you're going to have a baby, Damar, and you and that special someone, you're trying to get that room ready, and you go and you buy the super cheapest paints in the world, and you paint it. What's it going to smell like? Yeah, you may pass out from all these noxious fumes from the paint. So some of the fancier, better paints, they have on the side of them, it'll say low VOCs. And so if you actually cared about your unborn child, you would get a low VOC paint, paint it a little bit more just so that they don't have these noxious fumes that are constantly as the paint dries out and you still have that paint smell coming out in the room. Or maybe even from your baby's mama so that she's not breathing those paint fumes and transferring them to your child. Remember that. I don't think he has a baby's mama, so it's a hypothetical here. Okay. Number 4, rain, or specifically acid rain, can be affected through the release of sulfur dioxide. Sulfur dioxide makes what in the air?
Soulmates. Okay.
Sulfur dioxide in the air creates what, Simona? Thank you, Isabella. Sulfuric acid. Good.
I was saying it, but everybody cut me off.
Judging from the things that he said, I wish you'd have cut him off. Okay. Also, that can be produced, through burning of diesel fuel, which we have a lot during transport. Number 5, turn back to page 411 in your book, and under the major air pollutants section, we have an act that you need to be familiar with. Through the blank blank act, the Environmental Protection Agency regulated the use of lead, particularly in fuels, which dramatically decreased the amount of blank. So, what was the act that reduced that?
The Clean Air Act.
Clean Air Act. So, in case you people at home did not know, in the late in the late 60s and early 70s, when rivers were catching on fire up in Ohio, people were like, hey, maybe we need to take better care of the environment. So they passed the Clean Air Act, they passed the Clean Water Act, they passed the Safe Drinking Water Act. So all these were kind of during that same time period. The EPA was formed with the government. Need some tea. Now, I like sweet tea, but wherever you're from, maybe comment on the kind of tea you like to drink. My wife's more of a green tea drinker.
It's gone to his head, guys.
I like drinking more of a syrupy water with a tea taste to it. All right, so the Clean Air Act. What does the Clean Air Act do, Damar?
The Clean Air Act.
It's
the act that ultimately identifies.
Oh God. Yeah. Read that part. That's good.
Okay, it says the Clean Air Act of 1970 and subsequent.
Oh God, you stopped. What are you doing?
What?
Ultimately identified 6 pollutants. Good. All right, there are 6 main pollutants that the Clean Air Act set to regulate or control the amount of: sulfur dioxide, which we talked about, nitrogen oxides, carbon monoxide, particulate matter, tropospheric ozone, which we'll get to in a second, and lead. So, at the end of notes on 5, it says, the Clean Air Act dramatically decreased the amount of what? Leaded gas. Good. What kind of gas do you get when you go to the gas station? All of my students here, I think most of them drive. We're riding a car somewhere. What do they say the gas is? 87, it's what?
87, 90.
No, no, not worried about the numbers, but what does it say beside that? Well, it usually has about 10% ethanol. What'd you say, Isabella?
Lead.
What?
Is there not lead?
Leaded.
Oil.
Leaded.
I don't know.
It's leaded?
I don't know.
I swear I've seen
I don't pay that much attention.
Obviously, none of you pay attention to what you're doing. It's a wonder you haven't put diesel fuel in your
Pull
car.
up and get away. I'm scared of
Pull up and get away. You're not in a robbery.
Yeah.
You're not going to get kidnapped at the gas station.
Actually, yeah.
You have like a gas thing you can like fight them off with.
That's not how that works.
Wrench in them, light 'em on fire.
Okay, yes, so it says unleaded at the gas tank.
Oh, unleaded. That's what I heard.
Yeah, so stopped putting lead in the gas, so that's why they call it unleaded. Unleaded, so that when you burn it, lead didn't go all in the atmosphere, and then come back down and get in the waters and creeks and streams and stuff, and get in fish, and then we eat the fish, and then we get the lead, and then our brain cells die, and then you can't answer these questions. Okay, number 6. I hope you guys are still following along. On page, let's turn to 414 real quick here. Primary air pollutants. Air pollutants can be divided into either primary or secondary air pollutants. What is a primary air pollutant? What does that mean?
They come directly out of the smokestack, exhaust pipe, or natural emission source.
Yeah, or let's say Reagan over here is, she gets done with play practice and she's out back, and she's smoking a cigarette. She's trying to relax, although she knows she's giving herself lung cancer 30 years down the road. As she smokes that cigarette, that is releasing a primary air pollutant. It's burning something and releasing it directly. Let's hope she reforms herself, or I'll tell her mother. Secondary air pollutants, what does that mean? So anything burned or released directly is primary. Y'all got lost in the example.
Yeah.
Secondary, what happens tomorrow?
They've undergone transformation.
Okay, so these are air pollutants that are formed in the atmosphere after a reaction takes place. So when the primary pollutants react, and they form secondary pollutants. And I would say this, the main one that you need to know is ozone. Ozone, what's the chemical formula? What's the oxygen we breathe?
Nitrogen.
Oxygen we breathe is O2. What'd you say ozone is? O3. Good. Ozone we normally think of as not a pollutant. We think of it as a good thing. Where? The ozone layer. Yes. So where's the ozone layer?
Around the earth.
In the atmosphere, around the
Not in heaven, but up in the next layer. What's the
It's the sky.
stratosphere? Good. So in the stratosphere, this worries me because we've studied the atmosphere. So in the stratosphere, the only thing I told him to know is the ozone layer. So there you have the ozone layer, which protects us from space,
The asteroid.
asteroids,
And the
ultraviolet rays from the sun. I'm not doing a very good job teaching here. So yes, there's UVA rays, which they don't really block very well. But those aren't super bad. They do block, the ozone blocks out UVB and UVC primarily. I've actually got probes for these two, so when we get to Unit 9, we're actually going to go outside and do some experimentation. We'll test your fancy sunglasses that are supposed to block out everything versus the cheap ones at Dollar General like I get, and we'll see how well they work. Maybe we can bring in some rash guards, the shirts that you wear like swimming that says 50 SPF.
I have so many of those.
Yeah, you probably need those. So, I'm a big advocate for rash guards, especially for my kids and stuff, because no 8-year-old needs a tan. So, wear the rash guard. Don't burn your skin off and get cancer. Where was I going with that? Oh, ozone. So, ozone in the stratosphere is good. Really helps us out, blocks out UV rays. Ozone near the ground is bad. Okay, so it's bad for your respiratory system. It's bad for plants. It degrades rubbers and plastic. Even tires and stuff like that. It's just bad for it, the more that there is produced. So we want to reduce that amount of O3 near the surface. Okay, so we're gonna watch this video. We're gonna learn about the most polluted place on the planet, at least the most polluted city. And you guys at home, take care.